Since you probably already know what your fitness goals are, take about 10 seconds and write down where you see yourself. What would be that destination for you? What would it actually look like? So what would your financial goals be? Just like you have fitness goals.
Repeat that for me. I just got that. What did you need him to do again?
Take a few moments to actually imagine what your financial goals are. Where do you see yourself? Not necessarily at the end, but at the place where you say, I am financially prosperous. I am in a place where I have peace, I have order, because that's where we want to end up. Like you have a vision of what your weight loss is. I want to know what your vision is for your finances. So take a few moments to write those down. You don't have to write all of them down, because for me, mine could be about 20, 30 things I want to do. So give me maybe about 5. Okay, about 30 more seconds. Okay, y'all good? All right. So my personality is I'm an unbiased third party. I want to engage you with the information, but there are times I'm going to be serious about what I'm saying. I don't want anybody to feel like I'm directing anything in particular towards anyone. I haven't talked to Kenya about anybody in here, so I'm going to just put that out there. But he has a vision of the complete package of a woman. And I'm so ecstatic about that, because you don't want to be whole in one area, but the other 5 areas are jacked up. You don't want to have a banging body, then your credit is jacked up. You don't have any money for savings. You don't know if you ever will be able to retire. You don't even have an extra $5 to give someone. So I want to be able to assist you all to be the whole woman in the area of finance. So I'm going to say some things that you probably have already heard before. I'm going to say some things that you may have already started doing, you may have quit, may have felt like you failed at, may be intimidated by, but we're going to pick those things up. So I had you to write those things down because you need an end before you start anything. Because you don't want to just be wandering around like in the wilderness or somewhere out in the forest and you don't have a destination of where you want to get to, because you get frustrated and quit along the way. So you have to have a solid, motivating reason why you want to actually walk through this process. And the key thing that I want you to take away out of that statement is it is a process. This is not going to happen overnight. If you started out working out, you may have started out using no weights. You may be up to 3 pounds, 5 pounds, 8 pounds, wherever you are, but you had to actually start somewhere. And so it's the same thing with your finances. You just have to keep working at it, keep going at it, keep learning, because you'll eventually get to those things that you actually put down. So some of the questions I want to ask that I normally ask the people that I actually start out in counseling is, and you don't have to answer these out loud, but I do want you to write the answers down to this. What is your monthly income? And I'm going to go rather quickly. Do you know how much money it takes to actually run your household? How much debt do you have? If you have debt. want the answers. Do you have a plan to pay it off? Do you save? How much do you save? When's the last time you looked at your credit report? Do you overdraft your bank accounts? If you do, how often? If you are married or have a significant other or partner, do you discuss money? Do you have life insurance, health insurance? You all have already answered this. What are your financial goals, so you don't have to answer that one? Do you have peace in your finances? So I'm going to run them real quick again. What's your monthly income, the first one? Do you know how much money it takes to run your household? How much debt do you have, if you have debt? And do you have a plan to pay it off? Do you save? If you do, how much do you save? When is the last time you viewed your credit report? Do you overdraft your bank accounts? If so, how often? Do you discuss money with your partner, your spouse, your significant other? Do you have health and life insurance? Do you have peace in your finances? All right. So the reason I start out asking those questions is because if you don't have complete confidence in answering those questions, if you don't know what your monthly income is, if you don't know how much it takes to run your household, if you don't know how much debt you have, if you do know and you don't have a plan, how much you save, you don't look at your credit report, that means you've already, and I can answer the last question for you, you don't have financial peace. Because these are the main core areas that you have to use to lay a good foundation. You have to have your spending in order. You have to save. If you have debt, you need to be working on getting out of debt, because these are the things that are actually going to propel you to the next level. Financial literacy needs to become your best friend. And what I mean by financial literacy is getting what you're doing today. I commend you all for coming out, taking some time out on this beautiful Saturday, engaging the financial information, taking yourself to another level. That's what I mean. Getting some education, getting some books, getting a mentor, getting a coach, getting involved in some accountability groups to help you get to the next level. I always like to start out talking about, as far as laying the foundation. Hey, how you doing? With laying your foundation, you have to know where you are. Do a financial checkup. I'm going to give you an assignment to do a financial checkup. So put a star when you take your notes. Do a financial checkup. What does a financial checkup look like? Just like if you were to go to the doctor, they'll ask you all of these questions, a series of questions, just like I asked you a few moments ago. That's doing a financial checkup. We do a financial checkup. My husband and I run reports on our business income, our personal spending, and last year it was alarming for me, and I like being transparent. It was alarming for me the amount of money we made in our businesses, how much we did not save. And so I knew that was an area of weakness for us that we needed to be strengthened in. Yeah, we saved some things, and a lot of things we did, that we had prepared and planned to do, but the amount of money that we actually had brought into the household, our savings was nowhere near where it should be. Because I believe your savings should be starting out 2%. If you have to start out with 1%, 1% to 10% of what you bring in your household. Because you're worth that. If you're making the income, it should be going back into your hands. Yes, we have bills. Yes, we have things that we're obligated to pay, but I'm a firm believer, and you need to put yourself at the top of the list. You set aside time to do a lot of things. Set aside that time to make sure that you're saving, starting out with 1 to 10% of your income. And I get this from people, my clients, it's the same story all the time. I don't have enough to save. I have too much going out. I can look at anybody's financial statement and find some money to save. If you have to skip a meal, if you have to skip coffee, if you have to skip a bag of chips, where people fail to see the abundance that they have is they feel like those things don't really add up. But if you take chips, coffee, going out to eat with a coworker, hair, nails, all of those things add up. If you miss paying your light bill on time, let's just say if they charge you $8, that's $8 that you can save. I believe in focusing on what you do have so you won't be overwhelmed by what you don't have. If you have a penny, people laugh at me when I say a penny. Ms. Mountain, what is a penny going to do? It's a change, it's a shift in your mindset that you have something to set aside because you're worth it. You have to start saying and seeing yourself as worth having some money set aside. If your goal could be $10, if that's major for you, you know personally what you can do. Let that be your goal. This week I'm going to save $10, and I'm going to give you all some goals that I want you to work on at the end. But I'm talking about the spending plan, the financial checkup part, is because I want you to know that right now in your hands, regardless of what's in your hands, you have what you need to start saving. And in order to do that, you need to plan to save. And I call it a spending plan versus a budget because budgeting, first thing people think about is restriction. But a plan, it puts you back in the driver's seat that this is something that I am well able to do. So I'm going to plan on how I'm going to spend my money versus reacting to everything and everybody that comes along that wants my money. That may mean you need to plan on making some changes with your cable. That may mean you need to plan on making some changes on how you do spend the extra that you have. That may mean you need to plan on scaling back with going to the movies and maybe going to Redbox. These are just ideas. So the bottom line is, in your hands right now, whether it's a penny, $10, $1, whatever you have something to save. So you have to sit down and be honest with yourself. If you don't feel like you can do it, bring somebody in to help you to really look at what you're spending. Most people don't use cash anymore. 9 out of 10 people that I work with use credit cards, debit cards. And there's still something about spending cash versus swiping a card. Swiping a card takes no thought. Swiping a card, you assume that you know how much you're actually spending and that you actually do have it. But when you have cash, it's paid. You don't have to be concerned if your account is going to be overdrawn. And it actually makes you think, okay, do I really want to spend $25.17 on this, or can I wait maybe a week or so and spend just $19.15? It'll make you think versus it just being just basically it's like whatever. It takes your thinking out of the picture when you're just swiping those cards. That's why you don't have them, yeah. So she understands that. That's exactly why she says she doesn't have any credit cards, because she knows the difference between paying something cash and just swiping a credit card. So where are you spending your money? Spend some time looking at your finances. Where is my money really going? And be honest with yourself. Before you do it, go ahead and decide you're going to forgive yourself. Because it will make you upset. Because you will look at your bottom line and look at your account and be like, you know what, I wasted $3,843.18 on what? I have no idea where it went. And you think that could have gone to paying down some debt, it could have gone to paying your car off, whatever it is, it could have gone towards those things that you wrote down on that paper. So the spending plan, look at where you are. Just look at where you are. And look at how you can make some adjustments to where you're spending your money. One of the key things that I want you all to also do is change the verbiage that you use with making adjustments. You notice I'm not forcing, well, you got to stop doing this, you got to stop doing that. Human nature doesn't want to just automatically stop doing things. But if I can flip it around and say I'm going to make some adjustments because I'm investing in myself, because I want to achieve X, Y, and Z, then I'm going to be more apt to do those things. I'm going to feel more enabled to make the adjustment. Even if you do it one time, let that one time be fuel to keep you going for the next time. Because if you can do something one time, you can do it a second time and a third time. Everybody in here, I'm assuming you've worked out with Kenya more than once. If you can make it through Kenya's workouts, you can work on your finances. And you keep coming back for more. So the stamina is in you to make these changes. So let's move on talking about credit. How many people in here actually pull your credit at least once a year? Take a look at your credit once a year. Okay, good. Everybody going forward has to look at their credit at least once a year. Free credit, annualcreditreport.com. It's free. If you haven't pulled yours for this year, go ahead and do it. Or you know when your year cycle is. Annualcreditreport.com. Most people don't pull it because they are afraid of what it's going to say. The credit report will not bite you. Numbers will not jump off the page and choke you. You may feel like you're going to choke when you see what's on it, but you're not going to choke. You're going to be okay. But you have to look at it. That's a part of, all of this is actually going to be tied into your financial checkup. And all of these are part of your foundation, your firm foundation, having these things in order. So pull your credit report. I'm not going to talk about credit repair or anything right now, but I want you to pull it so you can be in the know of where you are just for today. Look at your credit scores. See where you fit. Because if you ever need to use credit for a wise purchase, you want to make sure that you get the best of the best, the prime interest rates. You don't want to be praying and calling out to God and Jesus and the angels and everybody else that can help you when they walk away and pull your credit report. You want to sit there in confidence knowing that they're going to come back with some good information. And it can actually put you in position to negotiate with them because your scores are that well. And if that's one of your goals is to get your credit report cleaned up, that is an excellent goal. Because if you don't have a house and you want to buy a house, let this be an inspiration. Why do I need to clean my credit report up? You know what? I want to buy a house, or I want to buy a bigger house, or I want to buy a better house. I'm worth having the best interest rate that's out there. It goes back to I'm worth this. Even if you don't have to feel like it. It's not about your feelings. I'm telling you you're worth it. So if I can tell you you're worth it, I don't know any of you personally, but if you're sitting here, you know there's some worth in yourself that you can say to yourself, I'm worth cleaning this credit report up. So I can get my car at a good rate, house at a good rate, whatever it is that's on your paper that you may need to use credit for. the debt. You'll see that on your credit report. Or maybe you have some other items, but you need to know how much debt you have. Because you need a target. And don't say, oh, well, I think it's about 15. No, you want to operate in the definite. You want to know down to the penny. If you owe $5,287.01, you want to know that so you'll know what you're working towards. Because you may not have to work as hard as you think you do. And you may have to put forth a little more effort than you think you do. But at least be in the know so you won't be confused. And so with having a spending plan and seeing where your money is going, that's going to actually help you plan on paying your debt down. And one of the arguments that I get when people come in was, I just don't have any money to pay anything down. We've already addressed that. You have something. And I tell people, creditors, people on the other phone, they're human just like you and I. They are there just to do a job. Regardless of what their attitude is, we take the approach that we're going to be gracious in our conversation. So if you have to get in a position where you need to negotiate, and I'm jumping, but I feel like I'm giving y'all a whole other lesson. But in any event, y'all want to work on this before I see you again, make sure your conversation is one of grace and being kind. Because realistically, if you need to negotiate, you want to do it, you want to be in a good attitude, and you want to be able to give off a good attitude. Because you don't want to be combative and have them thinking negative things about you, and it shuts them down from working with you. I don't care if they're cussing, raving, threatening, which they can't threaten by law. And that's another thing. Know your rights. Know your rights. Know what people can say to you and what people cannot say to you. And that's the Fair Credit Report Act, FCRA, if you feel like maybe you've been taken advantage of or you're not really sure what they can and cannot do, definitely look that up. Because if you start quoting that in a nice, gracious way, they'll comply really quickly. Am I going too fast? Okay. So back to when you call them or if you need to call them, no is not an option. Taking no is not an option. People will negotiate. And if you have something that's outstanding, they will settle. My husband and I have, well, I'm saying we have, it's really him. He has a second mortgage from a prior marriage. And of course, being his wife, I inherited it. And I just was not willing to pay the second mortgage in the house that I don't live in. And so they weren't willing to negotiate for a while. And it has taken us, this is the first year in 4 years, 2007. Oh my God, 7 years. 7 years of going back and forth because the debt was so large. But I just could not accept paying that entire second mortgage when it wasn't even worth the paper that it's on. So finally, well, actually we started negotiating with them last year to get to a point. And I'm saying that because sometimes you have to be willing to be in it for the long haul. I'm not saying this to tell my business, but I'm experiencing what I teach people. I'm walking through this, I've walked through it, and I'm here to let you know that it's possible, so don't take no for an answer. Has it been frustrating? Yeah, it's been frustrating. Has it been days where I've been, especially being the financial person that I am, wanting to chew somebody's head off? Yes, I've experienced all of that. But at the end of the day, I have to maintain what I know that I'm working on. And I knew, because I've dealt with creditors before. I graduated college with 4 Visas, 3 MasterCards, a Discover, Victoria's Secret, gas card. I graduated with no job and credit out my ears. And it took some time for me to get out of that. But what I learned in the process is you will get out. You will. But you have to be willing to commit to the process. So regardless of how much debt it is, they'll negotiate, they'll settle with you. You may have to just keep calling until you get the right person on the right day. And you can't get frustrated and quit because you have to keep your end in mind. And there were months that we didn't call them because we couldn't seem to get the right person on the phone. But we were like, hey, let's try again. And it eventually paid off. And some people think 7 years, that's too long. But what if we never continued with the process? What if we had just said 7 years ago, well, whatever, it'll just be there until we can pull all the money together and pay it off, which for me was just not an option. Wait a minute. And that's when you have to think, okay, yeah, it's $5,000, but that was 10 years ago. I can give you 200 or 1,000, whatever you have. And you have to be confident in that. You'll get the right person, so you just got to keep at it. Y'all good on that? Okay. All right. Insurance. Before I get to insurance, let me flip around to, well, no, we've already talked about income and saving. Pretty much, y'all know to save, know how much money you need to make. Okay. Insurance. You got to have some insurance. Health insurance, life insurance, get you some insurance. If you're self-employed, get you a licensed insurance agent, not real estate agent, but a licensed insurance agent to help you find some insurance, because that will significantly cut down on money that's going out of your pocket. Life insurance, I want to camp out here for a few minutes. You have to have something to protect, especially if you have children. You need something to protect your children. If you are single, God forbid, nobody ever planned on leaving this earth early. And I'm not here to sell insurance. I'm just here to give you information, things that I see, things that I've experienced. You got to have something that people don't have to be concerned. People can't grieve properly if they're wondering how they're going to give you a proper homegoing service. So if you're single, at least have a policy to where your loved one can actually give you a proper celebration. And it doesn't have to be $100,000. You're not trying to set people up to be rich when you're gone. $10,000 if you're single. If you're married with children, then you need to think about what you want your children's lifestyle to look like. You want to make sure that your mortgage is paid off. You don't want to leave your spouse or your partner burdened down with also the responsibility that if you leave before they do. People do not like this conversation. And unfortunately, this is a conversation that everybody needs to have with their family members. Because it is a reality. We're not all going to be here forever. So at least invest in not only yourself, but let that be something that you can be proud of. Take pride in, I have prepared in the event I transition before I plan to. At least it communicate to people, here's what I have, this is how much it is, so you can feel comfortable. That's the part of the vision, financial peace. That's a part of financial order, having your life insurance in order. You know, some people say, well, I can't qualify for life insurance. There are two options that you have. Get yourself in a position to where you can qualify and start out with what they will be willing to give you until you can qualify for more. Leave no excuses to why you can't have life insurance. No excuses. And one of the things that I want you all to work on, have these conversations. And I'm telling you, because of some experience, my mom passed away a couple weeks ago, and my sister had the conversation with her. I didn't have a conversation with her. Can't find paperwork. And that's just, there's no way for people to live. Because that's not peaceful to my stepdad. That's not peaceful for anybody. We know she has something, we just don't know how much it is and where it is. Because my sister didn't get all the details. And because I assumed, because my sister said she had something, that everybody knew where everything was going to be. And losing your mother is one of the hardest things that, you know, people, but that, you don't want that on your mind. You don't want that on your mind. So be fair to people to have something and let them know where it is. All right. Now that I've had the tough conversation, let's talk. And I want feedback. And I want honest feedback, you know, because nobody is in here judging anybody. I just told you all some very private business of mine. So, and I did that because I want you all to know everybody's working on something. I don't care who it is. I don't care if you have $700 million. People are still working on something. So no matter where you are, what level you are in, you should never feel intimidated, less than, or even better than somebody else, because we're all working on something. So the one thing that I do want everybody to give me feedback on is, do you save? You don't really save? Tell me why you don't save.
The same thing that you said. I have so much going out that it's, you know, hard to keep up with.
Okay.
I know my finances have changed because I used to save. I definitely always had something in my savings account. But now it seems like the last couple of years it's just so much going out. It's like, where's everything going? There's nothing in my savings.
Let me ask you a question with that. Did your income decrease, or did your expenses just kind of
My
increase?
expenses increased. So I went from living in an apartment to buying a home.
Okay.
Then my daughter decided to go to a private school.
Okay.
So things have changed where it should actually be getting better because I am a homeowner now, but also working a job where there's no increase. So the cost of living is constantly going up, but I'm not making more money.
Okay.
So, you know, now gas is more expensive and everything is on me. Every single thing is on me.
Okay. So for the benefit.
No, go ahead.
For the benefit, what prompted you to start saving?
I wanted to buy a home. I want my daughter to grow up and be in the house because I grew up and had a house and a yard to play in.
Okay.
So I started saving.
Okay.
With that
So once you bought the house, did you continue in that same habit of saving? So it was saving for a season because you had a goal in mind. Okay, good. And I was trying to pull that out of you because you have it in you to save. But now you just got to start digging in, line upon line, what's sucking my money up. Okay, I'm a saver. You already know you're a saver. You've proven that. You got to start going, digging in like with a fine tooth comb. Where is my money really going? And is that going to help me get to those reasons, those goals that you set down? Like, home ownership is major. Major.
I have a question for
Yes,
Liz.
sir.
Liz, was the house, was that kind of like the end result in terms of basically you were primarily just saving for that one thing and that was your goal?
So in the process, there was a plan. I lost my mother. World turned upside down. So my goal was get my college degree, purchase a home, get a car. At the time, I didn't have any of that. I went from having nothing, no job, nothing. These are your steps. And so I always lived with this plan in mind and built upon it. And at some point, I purchased a house, got the car, got a job, and then there was no plan. Except for to provide for my daughter. And so I've been transitioning, trying to figure out what's going on in my life that I don't have any more vision or plan. And so things have now been shifting back to there's more. Just get it together. Which is why I'm here today. Like, so I didn't have a plan anymore. Because it's like it took me so long to get the degree, to get the job, to get the house, put my daughter in this safe environment where this is what,
Right.
So now my daughter is on track, doing what she's supposed to do.
Okay.
And it's like, okay, what's left for you?
Okay.
What are you supposed to be doing?
Okay, good. Okay, and that's good that you can actually see that you know you had a plan, and you knew what you needed to do to that goal that you had planned on. So now you just know it's got to be, you got to factor yourself. Because like you talk about your daughter a lot, and that's good. And like I said, most times parents, we always put our kids, we put our spouses, we put everybody in the front. And that's why I say in the beginning, you all have to see that your value is really high. And that you have to start putting yourself at the top of the list. And that's not selfish. Most people think, oh, that's selfish, no. No, that's not selfish. To me, I think it's opposite. Because if I'm not whole, if I'm not functioning, if I'm not satisfied and fulfilled, then I'm always going to be feeling like everybody else is moving ahead and getting their needs met, their desires fulfilled, and where does that leave me? But if I'm whole financially, if I'm in peace, and my things are in order, things are functioning and flowing the way that they need to, even if there are hiccups, at least I'm empowered to know what to do. I have some savings to address it, or if there's some credit that I need to tap into, I'm at a good place where I can negotiate it. I'm important enough to say, you know what, I can see the end of this thing. So I want you to start thinking about putting yourself at the front. There's nothing wrong with that. Appreciate you sharing that. What's your name?
Elizabeth.
Liz. What's your name? Karen. Nice to meet you, Karen.
Nice to meet you.
You say?
Very little.
Okay.
Yeah, right now I think I have about 100.
Okay. You said very little. Do you know why you don't say more?
Because in the last 6 years or so, my income decreased, and I've been trying to make the adjustments with the salary that I make. And then I had a son, so he's almost 3.
Okay.
And that was pretty challenging.
Okay.
Because now I had daycare and doctor visits and all these different things. So,
Okay.
I think that's really about it. I think before I didn't have those other points, so I could save.
Okay.
And it wasn't really as consciously saving. It was just that the money was there, because I only spend this much. I only buy the same things.
Okay.
I'm very I guess static in my behaviors this way. So once I stopped getting raises 6 years ago, everything kind of changed, and then it sort of steamrolled into catching up with me. Like, wait a second, I have this paycheck, I have no money left. This paycheck, okay, I have this much left, but then something else comes up, and then I have to really catch up.
Okay. Who else has seen an increase in expenses and a decline in income or income staying the same? You?
Oh, no.
Okay. I'm gonna come back to you, Yvonne. I'm trying not to give y'all too much information, but for real, I want to give y'all as much as I can. Has anybody thought about, okay, what you can do to, okay, the reason I'm bringing this part up is back to your worth and your value. Because you're putting your time, your gas, everything that's your life into promoting somebody else's business. You're causing whatever company you work for, their people, their shareholders, their CEO, their CFOO, with all the O's after it, them to prosper and live well. And of course, I'm not advocating, let's quit our jobs and go start, no. But what can you start doing to build your own enterprise? Even if it's babysitting somebody's child for $25, baking somebody a cake for $15. These are just things that I'm saying, what can you do for yourself? What can you do for yourself to bring in some extra money? Because we live in a society where society is going to look after itself. No longer are the days that exist where you can even count on a bonus or a raise. No longer are the days where you can count on the government. I'm not speaking against our awesome president. Love him. If he ever sees this picture, it's not that. It's not them, because I want us to take away the blame and look at what we do have that's in our own world to create. Because there's something about you that people are willing to pay you what they pay you. So what can you do to get maybe paid half of that or a portion of that for yourself? So that's something that I want everybody to start thinking about as far as your income. What do I have to offer? Because everybody has something to offer. Everybody. And I'm not saying go get this $2,000 business plan before. No, just what do you have right now? If you can go pick up a busy person's dry cleaning for them. Hey, I'll charge you $10 to go pick up your dry cleaning. You know it's just right around the corner from your house. I'll do it twice a month for you. There are things that are available to you to bring more income into your household for yourself. So I just wanted, because I know that I hear that a lot as well too. And you don't ever want to be limited to your salary. You don't ever want to be limited to what somebody else thinks that you're worth. You gotta know if they're paying you what they're paying you, you really know you're worth more than that. Because the company's objective at the end of the day is to always get as much as they can out of people with as little as they can. That's their profit. That's their profit. That's just the business. That's just business. And I don't want us to look at that as far as blame, but they're just trying to maximize at the end of the day what they have coming in. So you can do the same. You can do the same. So over to you. Do you say?
No.
Okay. Do you know why you don't say?
Yes. At this point, I don't have any income.
Okay.
I haven't had any for a while, and I'm right now basically taking care of my mother. And in trying to go online and look for jobs or apply for jobs, it's basically I'm finding out how elderly people work because they have a tendency to manipulate. So,
What you mean? Explain that.
In order to get here today, I didn't wake her up because I know what the process is once I wake her up. It's like if I wake her up, then even if I plan out time to get things done, she'll find something for me to do until I just literally just bolt out the door.
So you being manipulated.
There.
Yeah. It's funny because even when y'all were talking about y'all kids, it's kind of like indirectly you get manipulated by your kids.
Yeah.
Whether it's I want to put them in a new school, but it still puts more pressure back on you. You know, and even with your mother situation, you know, she ain't your kid, but it's still somebody's manipulating somebody.
Right.
Okay, so it's kind of like when I was listening to your story, when you were talking about how basically you got the house, and basically it's been an avalanche of bills. You know, so it's kind of like you got one or two decisions. Either you create more income for yourself, or you start cutting stuff off. So that's kind of like that's what I've been listening. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
But I've been through what she's doing. Matter of fact, all of you that have got kids have been there. And I put my son first. And don't do that. And I am so proud of the two of you because I know what you're trying to start and what you're trying to do. And because I didn't have anybody to push me, talk to me, say, look, you're putting everything you got into him, and you're not doing anything for yourself. You're not promoting yourself. Now I'm 60 years old, no job. It's hard to get people to hire you when you're okay. So you need to make sure you take care of you. Even in starting your business, don't put your kids first. I mean, I put my son through college. That's where my money went. All my money went. I mean, and my focus was to get him where he went, where he was going to school and stuff. And my focus was to get him out. I didn't think about the fact that once he got out, now what? You know, because he literally, and it's funny, I didn't realize I was teaching him to be independent and do things on his own. And he got out. He never came home once he went to college. He came home the summer of his freshman year. After that, he was on his own. He did everything for himself, except for I was paying the college bill. And so that make sure you have a plan for later, as opposed, like you said, once you got the house, you got the car, you got everything, and then you were like stunned. You stopped. That's pretty much where I was, and I wish I had a Kenya in my life at that time. I wish I had a Kenya. Anybody, you know, but I didn't have anybody telling me, look, you're standing still, you're not moving. You're standing still. You're progressing your child, but you're not progressing yourself. So don't stand still. Have a plan. Plan for after you're done with your kids. Plan for after you got your business going. You know, try to keep something to focus on that whole time. Now I'm at the point where I don't have any idea of what I want to do. You know, but I've got to do something.
Do you feel like with taking care of your mom that it's hindering you to even think about what you want to do next?
Yes, because my mind is always on something for her, you know, or, you know, I'm trying to anticipate an issue, you know, and like you said, knowing where the papers and things are, I have no clue, and I've got to get that under control. As a matter of fact, that's a major star in my notes, that I have to get that under control because I don't know where her papers are. Matter of fact, there's some things that need to be changed. She said she got the papers, and I asked her where they were, and she said I don't know, but she won't give me any idea where to look for them or anything. So now, and that's the other thing in dealing with the elderly parent, you have to realize, and it's funny because I'm finding out that it always falls on one child, whether there's multiple children or not. It falls on one child to take care of all this stuff, to make sure all this stuff, the doctor's appointments and the insurance and the nurses and the aides and all this stuff. It's gotten to the point where I used to be at my house and she had an aide that was coming in. Now I live at her house. I haven't seen my house in 2 weeks. So it's like, you know, you got to, fortunately I have good neighbors that watch out. And, but, you know, I've got to get some kind of plan going.
Can I say something?
Sure.
You spent your whole life, you dedicated your whole life to everybody else but you.
Exactly.
You dedicated your early part of your life to, you know, your kid, and then you dedicated the latter part of your life to your mother. So at some point you have to say, you know, when is it going to be my time? When is it going to be my turn? But if you don't do that, then you will just continuously become a servant to whoever needs you next when you're supposed to be serving yourself. So again, it falls back on you. You have to decide, I'm not going to be somebody's servant anymore because you spent your whole life serving somebody else's agenda. and not fulfilling your own.
I agree.
What's your step besides, why you can't move back to your own home? What's wrong with the aid coming in?
Okay, the aide comes in, twice a week for 2 hours. She has fibromyalgia and,
The aid does?
yeah, no.
Oh,
My mother does.
okay.
And at this point, walking, falling, getting up, there's an issue. There needs to be somebody there basically 24 hours a day. At this point, it's getting worse and worse as the time goes on. So, and she's getting to the point where she just wants somebody there, whether she's asleep or not. Now, the odds are she probably won't be up by the time I get home because she stays up so late. And I just go to bed and I wake her up in the morning and give her breakfast or whatever. My stepfather's there, no help. So it's just a bad situation.
It's a situation that is very challenging, and I think
Yeah.
what Kenya said is you have to find it within here to where you gotta take back control of your life. Cause I could say a number of different things,
Yeah.
but it has to come from within here. And that's why from the beginning, I have been saying, and you gotta know yourself, you are worth making these changes. You gotta know you're worth it. And sometimes that makes, you have to make those hard, and it's the family decision.
Right.
It's the family decision. It's the family that needs this. It's the family that needs that. It's the kids and kids. It's the family that you have to make the hard decisions with. Because you feel guilty. They make you feel guilty. They condemn you. They tell you what you should be doing, what you ain't doing. It's never going to be enough.
Exactly.
And so you got to find it within yourself to make those changes. Because it is not too late for you to live your dreams. I don't care what your age is. That's irrelevant. Because you have the skill, you have the knowledge, you have the physical ability, you have everything that you need to live your dreams. And you know how to help other people make their dreams come true. Just flip that around.
Right.
Just flip it around. So that's what I'm going to say on that part. Okay. Homework assignments. What have I assigned you all to do?
Well, financial checkup.
Okay.
Financial checkup, or your credit report.
Credit report. Does everybody have that written down?
Yes.
Credit report. What else?
Your financial checkup.
Find out how much debt you have to the penny.
Debt to the penny. Absolutely. What else?
Saving, safe.
Spending plan.
Your credit score.
Yes. You need to know. You got to pull your credit, check your scores. You got to know how much debt you have.
And then, look at where you are, evaluate adjustments, and start changing the words that we use. That's what I'm talking about.
There we go.
Finances.
There we go. And we can talk about constructing a plan, a spending plan, once we take a look at everything at our next meeting, because there's no reason to talk about, okay, well, spend your money here, spend your money here, spend your money here, until you really know where you are, look at how much debt you have. Because I believe in taking small, bite-sized pieces so you can keep doing it. I can chew this. Okay, it didn't choke me. I'm going to take another bite. Oh, maybe I can take 2 or 3 bites. It didn't choke me. Because I don't want to tell you to do 15 things, and then when I leave, you tell Kenya, that girl crazy. She's going to do all this stuff. No, bite-sized pieces. It's the little things that add up. It's the coming in here. It's the getting online, doing your workout. The little things. Every workout adds up. Every effort that you put forth, every dollar that you save, everything, it adds up. You don't just get to your goals by accident. You don't disclose jobs, it's the little things you do day in and day out. And you have to know that you're worth it to do. Any questions for me? Y'all get anything else?
Oh, yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, ma'am.
What, you said FCRA?
FCRA, the Fair Credit Report Act.
And I did what you said about not, like when people call about your credit, owing them money and whatever. And I just told them, I said, look, this is the situation. And I told them the situation and they were like, oh, okay. And, I haven't had any negative feedback from any of them. I said, I can't give you anything.
Right.
When I get it, I'll try to give it to you, and they just go, okay.
Good. And that's it, they'll work with you. The point in time, they'll work with you. Any other questions?
I think you covered it.
Okay. Well, you all have been a great class. I appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
I appreciate y'all.
And we'll do this once a month because I really want y'all to do well with this. Because again, physical health, financial health, it's all relative. So we'll be doing this once a month. So Ms. Rashida. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate so much.
Always. Hope y'all enjoyed it at home. Be good.